Hello everyone, Dr. Nardi here, back with another video. Today we are exploring the fascinating world of social thinking and social influence. We will dive into how we perceive others and how they shape our behavior. Let us begin by looking at person perception, which is the process of forming impressions of others. This is an automatic process that happens every day as we interact with people and try to understand their personalities. To make these judgments, we rely on 5 key sources of observational information. These sources include a person's physical appearance, their verbal behavior, their actions, their nonverbal messages, and the situational cues surrounding them. As we process this information, we must differentiate between snap judgments and systematic judgments. Snap judgments are quick decisions based on very little information, while systematic judgments involve careful observation when we are highly motivated to truly understand someone. This deeper evaluation leads us to the concept of attributions, where we try to determine the underlying causes of behavior. We frequently make internal attributions, blaming personal traits, or external attributions, pointing to situational or environmental factors. Our perceptions are strongly influenced by our own expectations. One major principle is confirmation bias, which is our tendency to seek information that supports our initial beliefs while completely ignoring contrary evidence. Another powerful expectation is the self-fulfilling prophecy. This occurs when our expectations actually cause another person to act in a way that confirms what we originally thought about them, creating a cycle of behavior. Moving forward, we encounter cognitive distortions like social categorization. We naturally divide people into our own in-group and various out-groups, which unfortunately leads us to overestimate the differences between groups. This categorization paves the way for stereotypes, which are widely held beliefs about specific groups of people. Stereotypes can be based on race, ethnicity, or even physical appearance, such as the common belief that physically beautiful people are inherently good. A significant cognitive trap we fall into when applying these beliefs is the fundamental attribution error. This happens when we explain the behavior of others based on their personal traits and completely discount situational factors. Similarly, defensive attribution is our tendency to blame victims for their misfortune so we can reassure ourselves that the same thing will not happen to us. Transitioning from individual perception to group dynamics, we must address the difference between prejudice and discrimination. While overt, old-fashioned discrimination has declined over the years, modern discrimination has emerged as a much more subtle and ambiguous form of bias. This prejudice is fueled by various psychological causes, including right-wing authoritarianism. Individuals with this personality trait submit strictly to authority and show hostility toward those who are different or unconventional. Another major driver of prejudice is competition between groups, which connects closely to social identity theory. Our self-esteem is tied to the groups we belong to, and when our identity is threatened, we may resort to derogating outgroups to restore our collective pride. Let us shift our focus to how our attitudes can be changed through the power of persuasion. The persuasion process involves 4 main elements, which are the source, the message, the channel, and the receiver. A source is most effective when they have high credibility, expertise, and likability. There are 2 primary ways persuasion occurs, known as the elaboration likelihood model. The central route requires receivers to carefully think about the logic and content of the message, while the peripheral route relies on non-message factors like emotional cues. Finally, we look at the power of social pressure, starting with conformity and obedience. Conformity happens when people yield to social pressure, while obedience is a direct form of compliance where individuals follow strict commands from an authority figure. People also use specific compliance tactics to influence us, such as the foot in the door technique and the lowball technique, which rely on our desire to remain consistent. By understanding all these topics, from how we form impressions to the tactics used to persuade us, we can navigate our social world much more effectively.